All right, welcome back to Prairie Field as we get set for match number 2. Noon kickoff between the Dallas Reds versus the Stars All-Star Squad, the travel squad, as we were talking about earlier during the women's match between Texas Rugby Union and the Capital Rugby Union. The game fell in favor of Texas by a score of 46-19. Well-fought game on both sides, as Stars will take the kickoff to start the game. That one rose out. So we'll have our first line out of the game. So I'm going to apologize in advance. I'll be doing this one by myself. No thoughtful wisdom and insights from Wendy, as she is actually working this game. I'll do my best to bring you the action. So I just got the rosters for both sides. Dallas moving from your left to right, in the red and black jerseys, and the Stars Rugby squad going from right to left in the blue, red, and white jerseys. Just getting underway. We have a scrum for the Reds. They're just trying to get situated over there for the scrum. Trying to get everybody lined up. Make sure everybody's in place. The ball is in. Picked up clean by Dallas. Nice hard run taken down in the mid. That's Mike Vogel. He's taking down and working it to the outside. And they're going to try to run a quick play out towards Mike Keneally. Trying to go the opposite way with it is Dallas. We are early on here in match number 2. On the outside with it, that's Alex Illy. He's going to try to cut upside the middle, and he's going to get the first points of the game for Dallas, as they up to a 5-0 lead early on. Nice run by Alex Ilali. Was able to elude a couple of defenders and get the first points of the game. 5-0 in favor of Dallas. I'm sure early on we'll see a lot of filling out for both sides, as trying to figure out these teams. It's Maxime Delprat trying to tack on the conversion, and that kick is going to be up and good. So tack on 2 more for Dallas. They lead this one 7-0. They get set to take the kickoff. We do have one more game for you this afternoon at 3 p.m. We got the Stars All-Star, Women's All-Star team, and they'll be taking on Mid-America. That game's going to come in here at you at 3 p.m. Straight after this one. High kick. And Dallas is going to go try to up middle. They're going to play position with it and kick it down. And the ball squirms away from Calvin Harrington. And nice play by Dallas to win possession of it deep into Stars territory. Pushing up the middle, that's Chris Ramsey. Play looked like it was kicked forward. We're going to get the whistle. Wasn't able to quite hold on to it and kicked it forward. And we're going to have a quick substitute as we have a player with a bloody mouth coming off. And he'll get cleaned up. So we have a scrum for Dallas. Or excuse me, scrum for Stars as Dallas kicked that one on. Malo's in, still fighting for it. Dallas comes, or the Stars come away with it. Picked up coming the opposite way, and he's going to touch. Ran out of room there. Didn't quite see the touch line, I don't think. So he steps out, and that's going to be a line out for Dallas. So he had a nice head of steam running. That was number 68, Connor Rinklin. Excuse me, 88. I don't have his name. Some odd numbers out here. Ball goes back for the Stars. Picked up, but he's made by a couple of Dallas defenders. Taken down. Dallas isn't going to challenge the. Dallas trying to counter ruck. They're able to come away. Picked up in quick play. Ball is loose. Picked up by the Stars. Opposite way coming with it is number 14, Drew Beesby. We got a whistle. Penalty for the Stars. Trying to make a quick play, but unable to hold on to it. It falls to Francis Daughtery. And he's taken down. The Stars trying to get something working here. And that's their third unclean pass of the game. Dropped on, picked up by Dallas. Leading this one 7-0 early. The first half. Over to Cood McIvire. Big man's taken down. Dallas tries to inch closer to more points. Passes over to Bentley Alsop. And he's got some room to run, and he's going to slide in for the second touch. The second score for Dallas, and they're going to stretch this lead out 12-0. Had plenty of room to run. Bentley came across with it. Nobody was on him. Decided to take it in himself. So it's all Dallas early on. They've been applying pressure. Stars haven't really had an opportunity to break out of their zone. A couple of mishaps, putting the ball on the ground, and Dallas has taken advantage early on, leading 12-0. Got a beautiful day for rugby. Sunny, nice breeze. Currently in the 60s. Can ask for a better day. And it looks like that conversion try is a bit wide. So the score stays 12-0 in favor of Dallas. And we'll get set up again for the kickoff. Kind of short kick, well short of the 10-meter line. That's going to be touched up by the Stars. Kind of got caught up in the wind. It's a little breezy, not as strong as it was early on. Just got it underneath it. We'll have a scrum here at midfield. As we talked about earlier in the first game with these all-star squads, in case of the Stars, usually takes a few minutes to get kind of introduced to your players, get to know their tendencies and what they work best with. Dallas pushing the scrum, comes away with it. As Jake Bacon, he's going to put his head down and fall forward. Not much counter-rucking early on from the Stars. An aggressive push forward by Dallas. Back out with it. High kick, going to play possession with it. Ball's bouncing still loose, finally picked up by Calvin Harrington. Stars looked like he wanted to kick it, but he decided otherwise, and it's going to go out wide with it. Back up the middle, trying to push forward with the Stars. Stars are taking their time trying to get things set up well early into this game, so no need to panic. Down 12-0. Well, it takes usually with this kind of situation is a momentum switch, if I can say that word, switch, loose ball. Stars pick it up. We've had trouble early on maintaining possession of the ball as there's been a lot of loose balls dropped. Kick forward. Calling a high tackle in favor of the Stars. And they're just going to go for the line out. A nice deep kick, about up to the 10-meter line. Dallas's zone. So we'll see what the Stars can do here. First real possession. Fortunately, we do have somebody jumping on who's going to help me out here. Oh. All right, let's try that again. Let's turn your mic on this time.
This is Liz Entwistle with Stars Rugby Sevens here at the Texas Rugby All-Star Tournament. So our team wearing the blue and our non-traditional numbers, a little bit different from what you're going to see.
That's
with the
what I was
setup.
saying. 128 and 88s and
So that goes along with like the history of the team. Some of these numbers have been reseeded as players of ours have made it into Major League Rugby or onto the USA Sevens team and whatnot. So we've got a mix of players here, a strong contingent of guys from Notre Dame College, from the Bremer County Bucks up in D3 Rugby out in Iowa. Our fly half starting today is actually still in high school at St. John's Prep in Andover.
Have they had a lot of time together before this match?
No, we got down to Dallas on Thursday and had 2 training sessions yesterday. We're fortunate enough to bring in a former USA associate head coach, Peter Bagdad, who was with the Women's World Cup team for the last 2 cycles of the World Cup. So he's been working with the men's team over the past 2 days. A lot of it's coming from snow, though, so coming down here to Dallas and having temperatures about 75 degrees and sun is a little bit foreign to the majority of our team. Like we said, representation from all over. We have 3 players from Old Blue out of New York that just won the D1 Elite Fall Championship. 2 players from Little Rock, so coached by former USA Sevens coach Jules McCoy there. A couple of handy players. But being a touring side means that we're bringing in players from different teams. It's a development team, so players as young as 18, like I mentioned, going up to about 28 in age, and a lot of them being picked as the gems of their teams coming from D2, D3 programs that just don't have the same opportunities as these Pacific Premiership sides or D1 Rugby here down in Texas and everything too. So the goal being to give opportunities and to be able to play strong programs, but also we've had a lot of players move from then playing D3 Rugby come into the Dallas Reds. So players like Jonathan Gooden, Dylan Carrion's played with us as well. We've had a few, we invited Narada to come out on some tours as well. So there are some connections. And it's an opportunity then for after the match to talk to the coaches for the college kids to talk about what opportunities there are beyond the college game and to see if Dallas might be a good fit.
So that's good. I mean, it brings attention to the squad, I mean, obviously to the players, and they get recognition and hopefully can further their careers.
And unique as well, because we are a sevens majority-based program. So this is actually our 43rd trip that we've had in about 4 years of existence. So that means we're basically going somewhere every single month. Our sevens side, the elite top team, has gone to Fiji, to Australia, up to Calgary and Vancouver, down to Tobago sevens, and all around the world. So some of these players we'll look at for sevens and see, how they fit in with kind of like that top team or perhaps a development team. We've run U20s. So Fly Half Connor came on our U20s tour to play in the North American Invitational in Salt Lake City. Right now, it looked like there was a stoppage. The referee then indicated a penalty after the fact, so Dallas is going to go for 3, currently leading 2 tries over the Star squad.
Yeah, it's been on Dallas early on, and I guess it's kind of the start. They're just trying to, feel themselves out, kind of see what everybody's strengths are.
I think the biggest problem here is that our kickoffs have not gone 10. We're kicking into the wind here in these conditions as well, and that's something that needs to be fixed. That's something that really doesn't depend on the other team at all. So hopefully a couple strategy changes here, and just making sure that we're kicking for depth downfield. Dallas is going to go up by a score of 17-0 as the conversion is made.
Yeah, they had an issue with that the earlier games with the kicks not going 10 and just not going where they wanted with that wind.
But there's things you can do to change that too. When you look at how you're kicking for your kickoffs, if you're going for a higher kick where you're coming off your boot, how you're dropping the ball, you can actually just try to get that little grubber kick on the ground. As long as the ball goes 10 meters, it just has to go 10 meters across the line to be a good kick. So again, we're getting too far under the ball. That's actually not even getting caught by the wind. That's an issue with the placement and the drop on the kick itself.
15-0 our score here. Get another scrum off the kickoff.
So when we look across the Stars front row as well, we've got Darren Rice out of Notre Dame College. We've got Todd Becker playing in the hooker position. Francis Doherty from Old Blue playing on the tight head side. Second rows with Nico Felice out of Bramer County in Iowa. Anthony Kissiday on the near side prop. Drew Rusby on Air Force 7s, and he recently was stationed formerly in Wyoming, currently in Los Angeles, so playing rugby with Belmont Shore. This is a good scrum by Dallas, a good pick, so obviously a very scripted play, looking for that 89 connection. Not quite there, as the defense did get off the scrum quickly for the Stars. Dallas is going to retain potentially in the ruck, and this is another penalty called. So these are things that we need to adjust to as a team. The referee is obviously not liking what he's seeing in the breakdown. These are things that as a player, no matter if you know your teammates or not, you need to adjust personally and take ownership. So that kick not quite getting to touch. So this could be a mistake. Dante Lawrence, ball in hand. He plays for the Savannah Shamrocks out of Georgia.
He's got some nice speed on him and get that guy in open field, and he's going to do some damage.
Yep, he's a player that we saw at the National Championships a couple years ago in Pittsburgh. So quite a few of these men, again, with the D3 level, played against each other in those national finals in the Mud Founders Field. That Savannah team made up with a lot of military guys too, so they're constantly turning over their personnel. It's a nice choice to kick through, though. With Dante having returned the ball and not quite being in position with the back three, we were able to shift over, and this is going to be Carlos Garcia on the far side. He and his brother Ty James play rugby at Notre Dame College, as well as Darren Rice. Calvin Harrington, our fullback. And this is a break from Ty James. Ty came out of the New York Rugby Club's U19 program, so they've been doing a lot of growth, and that's a team that is feeling. A WPL women's side has D1, D2 men's, and does a lot of youth team. They're the team that ran the New York Sevens tournament last weekend for Thanksgiving. So a lot of opportunities there between the New York Rugby Club, the CODP program with Play Out Rugby USA, so they actually have the only youth certified Olympic development program in the country that's certified by the Olympic Training Center and not just through USA Rugby. So head up by Mark Griffin and some others doing development work on the East Coast.
Is there a lot of D3 players out here today?
There are a good amount, yes. But then, like we said, if we've got 3 guys from Old Blue, they're playing some D1 ball. A couple players Little Rock. They drove in last night, so the guys that were here for practice are getting the start. We are doing rolling subs again today. This is, an exhibition match, right. So we make sure that people do get playing time, especially flying in and traveling from quite so far. This is not the best scrum for the Stars. Well done by Dallas driving forward, but this tackle coming forward by Bryce Lanhart. He's a young man with a wrestling background, played rugby at University of Minnesota Duluth, so D2 national champions back-to-back and D2 Sevens national champions, currently playing with Metropolis. So a D1 player, but a younger D1 player.
So Dallas trying to push here to extend their lead. They're early leading this one 15-0.
And this is another penalty against the Stars. So this is another one yet again in the breakdown. We'll see what Dallas does. This close to the goalpost, you can obviously kick another 3 and try to extend your lead to 18-0. I love the option to have a scrum. They're obviously running a play. So we see the quick tap, and it misses the mark out on the wing, and he's covered by Carlos Garcia with the tackle. It's a nice wide field, though. And now the ball is knocked into touch.
Yeah, it didn't go the way of Dallas. They did have an opportunity there to extend that lead, but couldn't quite hold on to it. You saw it earlier on with the Stars. They weren't able to handle some of the balls that they were themselves.
So these are the things when you come back to core skills of rugby, looking at the catch pass being one of the key elements. That's where we're building our attack and our offense around, and then with defense being the core skill of the tackle. So these catch pass situations need to be straightened out. There's no reason that these balls should be flying so high, especially in the wind. You don't want to be lofting balls into space to have it be carried with timing. So that's just a matter too of Dallas being such a big team. They've got a D1 match today. They were able to reschedule a D3 game, so they've got their D2 guys out here. A lot of them actually international players. USA Rugby puts limits on the amount of foreigners that you're allowed to have on a field at a time, trying to make sure that the club rugby stays more club rugby and community oriented. This is a good attack by Dallas, though, going through 3 phases of play to this near side of the field, getting it out to their flanker, looking for a few crash balls. We see their forwards lined up as well behind that fly half, so I would expect to see a little offload again, and there it is to the second row. So anytime we see those lower numbers getting out into the backs, we'd be looking for them to potentially take a crash or two and then freeing up space, and now here we go wide out to the backs.
He's got the space there.
He's got the space, and he had the cut back inside.
Haven't called it yet. They called it, yep. That's going to be a score for Dallas.
So that was an opportunity that Dallas had to, where we shot hard on defense. So we had our outside center coming up, and it created a space with a little bit of an open hole. We were trying to go for a little bit of a 2-man buddy tackle as well. So that freed up that open guy on the outside. He had a nice little step to get it with the Dallas swing. So eventually executing well, going sideline to sideline and finding space.
Is that what you're just trying to do? Just trying to get them come inside and open up that outside lane?
Well, they're trying to find any sort of mismatch. So when you're playing good offense, you're trying to identify weaknesses in the other team and what can you exploit and what can you tactically do. It's really not different from any other sport. If you know that you're a basketball team and you've got LeBron James out there, you're going to try to find his mismatches and get him the ball. Same thing when it comes to football. In certain situations, you're going to use Richard Sherman at the goal line, and well, maybe not quite so much in the Super Bowl, but tactically trying to find where is their space, how can we create it. So if they're able to create space by getting the ball wide, if they're able to create space through kicking, right now it is penalties that are killing the Stars, and that's, it's quite unfortunate. Those are things we have to adjust to, and that's one of the challenges with having a constantly changing team, is that defense is really about communication and timing. So when we're looking to launch forward and take away space on defense and put pressure on it, it has to be done together. The timing's not quite right. It looks like there's some penalties that have been called either for not releasing in the breakdown, and those are some basic easy things to do, but we just have to make sure we're going with support. And again, this kickoff being key, the ball must go 10 meters. Otherwise, we're just giving possession to Dallas, and they're getting position at midfield on the attack with a scrum, which is going to be a high percentage win for generally the offensive team.
Yeah, Dallas has come away with they've been, sorry, I can't talk today. They've been winning their scrums pretty much every chance they get. Yeah, there they go.
So that's the kickoff that we have needed. We see Bryce Lanhart on the pursuit, so trying to put some pressure on. So this is where we need to close again together. So teams will call, perhaps like a fire call when they're all sprinting up as hard as they can, or an ice call when they're trying to just ease up and connect on that line. Ball fielded on the near sideline by Dante Lawrence. He's got Calvin Harrington there in support. Dallas with 3 men in the counter ruck, and they are going to steal the ball. Dallas with the turnover. So again, solid keys in defense. They had their numbers, they had their support, they had their pressure.
They're quick on the ball. They're just getting there. They're moving it. They're making their plays. They're not taking any time.
That was a good shoot on defense by Jonathan Blaylock, but Dallas able to get off the offload. And we see the attempt at the chip and chase downfield.
That was Al Johnson opening it up to the outside.
And we see the kick to touch from Stars captain Nico. He's a player that's actually played college rugby both at University of Iowa and University of Northern Iowa. Again, coming from Bremer County, can play 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Spent a little bit of time playing footy down in New Zealand, and is going to be heading down to Australia, trying to hop on with the Sydney North side. That's a members of the Shoot Shield competition. So those are clubs that actually, Dallas is a big team. But the Shoot Shield sides, you see, there's going to be a premier team, a reserves team, first grade, second, third, fourth, all the way down. And then they've got their juniors and their Colt sides as well. So when they have players that are making it to the premier grade of the Shoot Shield, they've advanced through the club, generally going through youth ranks and higher and higher and higher. And it really is elite competition. We've seen some of the USA Eagles come from that side. We've also seen USA Eagles go over and only make it into the second grade as well, because it's just that intense. So we see the line out by Dallas, and no lift by the Stars. So a little bit perplexing there.
It's Markel Pearson pushing up, and they're going to give it to him. So another score by Dallas. They're easily in control of this one early on.
when you starve the other team of possession and you starve the other team of field position as well, you're generally going to come away with the win. I'm really concerned about what went on there, though, because this is a line out that was within the 22. Stars did not put anyone up in defense, and what that's doing, it is not creating a tunnel, so we're not going to get that not straight call because there's nothing to compare it to. So even if that ball comes in and it's not the best throw, if we don't put up a jumper, the referee can't really call it not straight because there's not a tunnel. Obviously, if it's drifting and it's terrible throw, that's one thing. But we're taking away even that little chance, and then we're also taking away the pressure. If we weren't going to contest in that line out and we weren't going to contest with a maul and they're coming off the top, then we needed to have a launching platform on our defense and have them come up and take away the space. But instead what we did is we allowed that Dallas runner just to come through and right at the middle of the field. If teams are going to score against us, we want them to score on the outside. We want our defense linked up together. So there might be some miscommunications going on, but it's things that need to get straightened out. With these rolling subs and players coming back on, hopefully these are things that do get fixed as the game goes on. Again, our coach Peter Bagdad, quite experienced, not only coaching with the USA women's team, but coaching Gonzaga High School that's won 4 out of the last 5 national championships at the D1 level.
So we should see a turn of events here for Stars as Dallas takes the kickoff, leading this one 27-0. Turnover by Dallas.
So that was Andrew Winters out of Little Rock carrying the ball, came out as a substitution as a prop. Darren Rice taking again. Connor O'Brien taking over the scrum half position for a series of plays. Connor actually played on our U23 tour to St. Thomas and the Virgin Islands when we won that tournament, the Paradise Smash, just before the Hurricanes back in 2017. And a penalty to Stars. So this is an opportunity now, ball in hand, if we can get a try and get one quickly and put some pressure on Dallas and actually make them play some defense for a bit, that would be a great change of events. We've got the numbers to the left side of the field. We've got numbers to the short side as well with a few of the forwards. That's Drew Busby with the ball in hand. He's another one that's been on several of our sevens tours playing for the U.S. Air Force Sevens in tournaments like Rugby Town in Vegas. He's come with us over to Alaska, was with us in San Diego, came up to Canada as well. So it's a program that we have a close relationship with, and I know Air Force with a big presence in San Antonio here too.
Yes.
So Stars, again, ball in hand on the attack, still have numbers out to the left side. This is Casey Hansen with the ball ready to crash. This is what he loves to do too. You know, he's a big size center. You look at him, you think he might be like a defensive end when it comes to football. But playing number 12, captaining and coaching his club back home. So Stars again on the attack. We're looking at numbers 2. Dante Lawrence is that danger man on the left side of the field. Stars coming out to the right. Nico with the ball in hand. And it is Nico that's going to go over for the first Stars try. So good pressure by the Stars on attack, maintaining the ball, going through a few possessions, had options to the left, options to the right. So now we're stretching the Dallas defense. And again, so this is what we're probing and trying to find holes. With the ball in hand and hopefully winning this next kickoff, this again could be that change. But it's nice to see a team that has a high percentage of success when they're inside of the red zone. So Dallas has been quite effective. They've been inside the 22. Same stats and same things we look at football. About 80% of the time, Dallas has gotten the ball in there. They have come away with the try. Stars 1 for 1, so we'll take that and can build on it when we take
Well, like you're saying, they need to move the ball quicker, and that's exactly what they did on that last possession there. Just quick possession, quick movement.
So we're going to see the conversion attempt by Connor O'Brien. Played college rugby at University of Albany, so he was on that St. Thomas tour with the U23 team with the Old Blue Club out of New York right now. The kick is good, so this is going to narrow the margin to 27-7 with Dallas leading the Stars about halfway through the first half of play. Again, windy conditions here in Texas, about 70 degrees, but again, to all of us coming from the north, this feels about 90.
This is flip-flops and shorts weather for y'all.
It sure is. We had a gorgeous weather on Thursday. Yesterday, dealt with a little bit of the storms rolling through, and took the opportunity to go down to AT&T Park. Had to go say hello to America's team and see what Jerry Jones had built. Had a great tour there too, and just trying to take in some local sites as well. Because part of touring is not only bringing teams together. You're trying to develop chemistry. You're trying to develop and create those experiences that are memorable. So you see a couple more changes coming on for the team. The Stars resetting to receive the kick. Dallas could go either way. So we see a mix of their numbers on the field. It looks like the kicker's going to go to the left side just by the way that he's set up, and there he goes. It's a gorgeous high kick. Finds its way to touch, and we'll have a line out to the Stars.
Well, you took advantage of the win on that one. Okay, we got about 12 minutes left here, depending on what the referee has in the first half.
And this is Dallas again, finding themselves in familiar territory. Of course, Stars are going to have to win this line out and come up with an exit strategy. So what are going to do from behind the 22-meter mark? We're kind of in our defensive zone. We talk about splitting the field into different areas of play and having a strategy when you're like a red, orange, green zone of the field as well. So the line out successful. That's Nico taking it off the top. Connor O'Brien takes the ball into contact and knocked forward in the tackle. So great defense by Dallas, sticking that tackle and sticking it hard. Dallas coming back to the inside using that crash ball. This is the same young man that scored that last try for the Dallas side.
You do have somewhat of the size advantage. They're playing that to their favor.
So you can tell that that was a scripted play. It was a nice kick to the corner, some good heads-up footy. Doesn't quite get there. Again, hard field conditions, too. This is a little bit different. I don't think we would call this grass back in Chicago. But, again, you have to play to the elements. So this is something, as a player, when you're going home and you're perhaps journaling about experiences, what elements did you deal with today? You know, there's things like, you know, your diet, your sleep, your gym workouts, your conditioning, your hydration, too. But this is a windy day in the sun, the field's like this. What do I need to do? What do I need to change? Being an away team, I don't know that everyone necessarily packed hard ground spikes versus if it was muddy, we knew there might be rain last night. You know, so if you're at home, you might have 3-4 different pairs of cleats depending on the elements that you're playing in.
You just have to travel with that.
You know, 2 weeks ago we played at Lindenwood University in St. Charles, Missouri. We played on a turf field and it was cold, so it was quite different. And then 2 weeks before that, we were out and played Central Washington University in Ellensburg. So taking these teams to play some of the varsity college sides that also need to have additional high-level games as they're preparing going into their D1A seasons.
So y'all are all over the place. Is it pretty much weekly or bi-weekly where you're somewhere?
It is at the moment. This is the first time we've done so many 15 stores, but we're preparing, and what this has been building towards is playing the New Orleans Gold team in 2 weeks in New Orleans as part of their Major League Rugby preseason. So we're taking kind of the top players from each of the previous 3 men's tours to play on that trip. And these are players that are, you know, looking for exposure. They're looking to get game film. They're looking for opportunities. All these MLR sides are having academy teams as well. Here in Texas, we've had actually quite a few stars play on the Houston SaberCats. We've had alumni play on the Austin Elite team. So it's kind of a chance to be seen or just to know what the pathway even looks like. And, you know, it's this new venture going into year 2. So this is an opportunity for them to go see what is an MLR facility, what is their coaching staff like, what's the clubhouse like, what is their academy setup. Because each team is running a different academy. Some are U23, some are U20s, some are just feeding in from clubs at the D1 level. So it's that face-to-face time and then just a chance to play up.
So Dallas is going to get the scrum here. Trying to tack on to their 27-7 lead.
We look at how the Dallas backs are set up and what might be going on with the play, who had their feet forward, who had hands up and ready. This was an excellent scrum, though, by Dallas.
Nice.
A driving scrum, getting the 8-man. That's something that you love doing. All you have to do is dot it down when all the rest of your forwards do the work. So an unfortunate turn of events because Stars did have a little bit of ball in hand but weren't quite able to come away with anything. Excellent defense by Dallas, creating the turnover off the tackle, led to the scrum earlier, led to a few phases of possession. They tried the chip to the corner and then they had it with the scrum close. And these are guys that are mates. You know, they know each other, they know their skills, they know their tactics. They're excellently coached. We have Philip coaching the Dallas D2 team today. We know Chris Howard and Lynn Howard that have been working with their Sevens program. That's the team that won the plate championship when it came to Sevens this year. Played out in New York in turf field in rain with crazy conditions. I know some adverse conditions there too when it came down to some of the eligibility. So Dallas played that tournament with only 10 players as opposed to the full 12 because they said, you know what, even though you're in the U.S. Army, you don't qualify as a resident. You're only allowed X amount of foreigners, so it's pretty unfortunate. But Dallas able to regroup and make it through pool play and go on.
So 32-7 our score here. Dallas trying to tack on 2 more by Maxim Del Pratt. About 8 minutes left to go in the first half. But pretty much all Dallas all this first half. And that conversion is good.
Yep, they're executing simple things well. Their defense has been strong. Their scrum is quite strong. You know, there are adjustments to be made and some tactics to do. But again, when you're looking at learning experience as well, then how are we going to defeat this Dallas scrum, or at least slow it down? Because when they are driving forward so much, not only are they, you know, getting those kind of mental victories, their strength victories, but it is creating more space for their backs. This is a good kickoff by Stars, went just beyond 10, but picked up by Dallas, and this is a nice little break from the Dallas prop. Again, some strong runners on this Dallas team.
Sima Masora. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. All the way down near the touchline. Not quite in yet. Need a stoppage here.
So we have a conversation between our referees and his assistants. So set up with a full field of referees and number 4s as well. This looks like it is another Dallas try confirmed by the referees. So these are the things that can happen. This is, again, coming off of the kickoff. So if you take away these missed kicks, Stars are in the game, and this is something that is happening every kick. So when we kicked deep, it put pressure on Dallas and gave us time to come up with defense. We were able to create a turnover there and get the try ourselves. When we're going shallow, it's just not working, and it needs to change.
Well, Dallas has that speed and size advantage, so it's kind of hard to get, physical with them playing it that close. Yeah, in the girls' game, we didn't see much luck on the conversions coming from that side of the field. Let's see how he does with it. And that's Maxim Delprat for the conversion.
So certainly taking his time on the conversion attempt. You have 90 seconds in the sport of 15s, 30 seconds when it comes to 7s. I think he's waiting for the wind to die down, and I don't really see that happening.
No. That's going to be a little bit short. Guess he was hoping for a gust of wind to help carry the rest of the way. So our score stays 39-7. In favor of Dallas.
This will be Ty James with a kickoff for Stars. So going a little bit deeper. I like that call. That was an odd ninja style attempt. I don't know if I've seen that in rugby before by the Dallas inside center. It's a strategy.
Maybe he has a soccer background.
So what I like now is this has allowed the Stars the opportunity to connect on defense. If you look at us flat to either side of the ruck versus being a little bit disjoint when it is in these kickoff scenarios. This is a missed ball by Dallas. It looks like a knock-on by Dallas. This is going to give Stars a 5-meter scrum. So kicking deep is, again, yielding us an opportunity. We'll see what we can do off of our own attacking platform with the scrum. Close to the goalpost, we'd expect to see our backs split so that we can go in either direction. It involves both side wings and both sides full backs as well. Well, one side of full back, but he could go either way.
Do you think there's a reason why they weren't going deep earlier on with the kickoffs?
I think they were trying to challenge in the air. I think, we've got David Beach out there who's 6'7", playing college rugby at Notre Dame College. Nico, again, some experienced players. So trying to challenge in the air, but realizing now that the wind is such a wall, that would be my guess at their attempts. We'll see, pop into that halftime huddle and see what coaches have to say. So we have the scrum to the Stars. This is Ty putting the ball in. Connor O'Brien lined up at the fly half position. Calvin Harrington on the other side. Dallas with the turnover. We see Dante Lawrence in movement coming from that weak side wing, covering back for the fullback then because Calvin was involved in the action with that split back setup. Dallas knocks on again, another scrum to Stars. So now looking at this, Dallas has a strong scrum. We need to get a quick strike and get the ball back. We look at different channels in the scrum. Are you kicking through like a 1, 2, or 3 channel? Are you trying to slow the ball down and set something up? But because Dallas is so strong, we want to get a quick strike, get it through the legs, and get it to the back and get it out. Let our backs do a little bit of work. He's getting tied up in the scrums is doing us no favors. So we see Stars offense out to the left side of the field. Again, it's looking to attack with full numbers. Connor O'Brien at fly half, Casey Hansen inside center, Chris Casey as the outside center, Calvin Harrington shading right behind him at fullback. Carlos Garcia is inserting to the far side wing as well. And so again, this is another time Dallas has stolen in the scrum. So Stars will be looking to create a turnover defensively if possible. And here it is, Drew Busby coming away with the ball. So Drew's Busby up in attack. And Dallas having to scramble in defense. Dallas is all heads into the inside. If we look how their hips are turned and we look where their eyes are watching, Dallas is all looking at the breakdown. So this is an opportunity, if Stars is able to get the ball, to get to the outside. It's hard to turn away. We look at football too, footwork matters. So little things make a difference in looking where opportunities are. But the ball is tied up in the contact area. This is a penalty to Stars. With exhibition play, you're looking to score tries. I mean, yes, it's smart tactics to go for the penalty and just take the easy 3. But, this is about linking up and doing everything together. So some things that you might do in a league match might be a little bit different when you're playing kind of friendlies of this nature.
Well, any kind of points can swing momentum, so.
So our referee having a quick chat with the men on both sides of the ball. And would not be surprised if we're getting close to the last play of this half.
He's checking his watch, so
I think it's signaling some time back on. So whatever it was in that conversation was going to require a few moments. So they'll stop the clock and get it restarted.
It'll be a good opportunity for the Stars to get some points here and go into the half.
This is David Beach with the ball in hand. Again, the big man standing at 6'7". Connor O'Brien at fly half. There's Casey Hansen crashing to the inside. Casey Hansen taken down high. That is rare to happen on a guy of his size. The ball maintained by Stars. Good leg drive coming out of Chris Casey in the number, well, he's wearing the number 12 jersey but playing outside center today. Good service again from Ty James. So Ty James looking to find that hole. Quick delivery, Connor O'Brien, and it is a try for the Stars. Prop Sam Chaney going over the line. So Sam actually played with our team in our Lindenwood match 2 weeks ago, drove up from Little Rock, and again making the impact today. We knew we had to bring some big Texas-sized props, so Sam brought along Andrew Winters from Little Rock as well. Francis Doherty is sitting there in a triple XL jersey himself. But these are good, big, fit props, and we want that mobility. And again, that's something that Dallas has in spades. Like, these are some fit, big guys coming up from Texas football and from all over the world. So I like that play selection, though, because we were able to use our backs to get it wide to the outside. That leg drive from Chris Casey's tied up 2-3 tacklers trying to bring him down, being able to recycle the ball and get it to the other side of the field again, and then back into the guy with just a little bit of a seam to run through. That's good rugby. And we're going in now with a try just before halftime, trailing 39-12 or 14. It depends if that conversion was made.
The conversion was made, so it's 35-14 or 39-14. And that's going to be our first half score. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with you. We'll be back here for second half action. You're listening to the Texas Rugby Union friendly matchup between Dallas and the Stars on the KMAC Vite Media Network.
Vite Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet covering UIL, private schools. Vite has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at VypeTexas.com and also pick up your Vite magazine today. Get in the game with Vite Media.
KMAC Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think Mopac Improvement Project, except we're always on budget, our price never fluctuates, and we're always on time. I mean, are they ever going to finish this thing? Right this very second, I'm stuck northbound at 5th Street. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAC Sports. Do you love the game of football? Wish you could be part of the action? Then become a football official. The Austin Football Officials Association is actively seeking new members to officiate games all across Central Texas. The Austin Football Chapter of TASO, the Texas Association of Sports Officials, provides a 2-year training program for new members. Taught by a crew of veteran officials, these training classes meet each Monday night from July through November and include classroom and on-field instruction. You don't need to be an ex-player or a coach to become a great official and have a memorable officiating career. As our officials will tell you, working around student athletes at all levels of football is gratifying. Plus, you'll develop lifelong friendships with other officials who share your passion for the game. Officiating football is a great way to get into and stay in shape, be a positive role model for student athletes, retain your competitive edge, and earn additional income. Visit the Austin Football Officials Association online at afoa.ws for more information. That's afoa.ws. We hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. And while all of us at the KMAC Sports Network are huge football fans, we broadcast more than just football, you know. In fact, KMAC Sports proudly broadcasts volleyball, girls and boys basketball, softball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, and more. For more information on how you can help KMAC Sports broadcast any of those sports, just reach out to Chuck at KMACsports.com or Merle at KMACsports.com or contact that Sports Booster Club directly. KMAC Sports will gladly work with you and the booster clubs to get that team's broadcasts on the air. And if you're a fan of the other team, well, we can broadcast your team's games too. We realize that, yes, even in Texas, there's more to life than just football. KMAC Sports, bringing your teams to you for 14 years.
Socialize with us.
You don't have what they call the social skill.
On Twitter at KMAX Sports, or catch us on Facebook. Search KMAX Sports. Just another way KMAX Sports is bringing your teams to you.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, and this is what we do.
Looking left, throws into the end
Bad
zone.
snap again. He hits the turf, and Deadline scoops it up. Cameron Wilkins
in the corner
has
of the
it.
end zone. 10, 5, touchdown.
If you like the sound of that, then let us broadcast your team. Send an email to Merle at KMAXSports.com or Chuck at KMAXSports.com to find out how. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. It's what we do. We are KMAX Sports.
Socialize with us.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
On Twitter at KMAX Sports, or catch us on Facebook. Search KMAX Sports. Just another way KMAX Sports is bringing your teams to you.
Vipe Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet covering UIL, private schools. Vipe has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at VYPETexas.com and also pick up your Vipe magazine today. Get in the game with Vipe Media.
We hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. At KMAX Sports, we work hard to provide quality professional broadcasts to make it easier for the booster clubs with whom we work to find sponsorships. We ask that you please patronize these advertisers and thank them for supporting your team's broadcasts. You can help your booster club fund the broadcasts by simply clicking on the donate button on KMAXSports.com. And if you're a fan of the other school, you can show your appreciation for tonight's broadcast by making a donation as well. Thank you in advance for your support. And now, let's take you back out to the game.
KMAX Sports is on Twitter. Get up-to-date scores and more on your computer and on the go with your smartphone. It's fast and easy. Just follow us at KMAX Sports.
Vipe Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet covering UIL, private schools. Vipe has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at VYPETexas.com and also pick up your Vipe magazine today. Get in the game with Vipe Media.
All right, welcome back to Prairie Field here in Grand Prairie, Texas. This is match number 2 of 3 between the Dallas Reds versus the All-Stars. Dallas ahead in this one, handling 39-14, and they'll receive the second half kick.
Hey, Pablo. Second half out, yeah.
So what kind of adjustments should we see from the Stars going into the second half?
So we've brought some players back onto the field again, rotating players with these rolling subs and everything too. You talked about the issues on the kickoffs. We're going deep on every kick now to put that pressure on. Brought up the fact that, you know, we've been down there in their red zone twice. We've come away with tries twice. Every time that we've had the ball with more than 2 phases of play has yielded a try. But the thing is that that's only happened twice so far. So this is a good challenge and great defense by the Stars. So the kickoff, putting Dallas under pressure, tackles to touch. We talked about the fact that there was a line out throw that wasn't straight early on, and that led to a Dallas try as well. So a lot of these things are just small little miscues, but possession was the name of the game. We talked about making some adjustments as well in the scrums. So we talked about before how there's those different channels and getting a quick ball, the ball out quickly as well, and that's exactly what Coach Peter talked about with the men, especially in that tight 5 area, to try to own it. This is David Beach going out for the line out, and this is an excellent line out throw from Darren Rice, his teammate at Notre Dame. Connor O'Brien, ball in hand, getting outside. Anthony Kissiday inserting. So Anthony's actually moved to 8 as well to give Drew Busby a little bit of a breather. Connor O'Brien, a fly half, ball in hand. We saw the attempt at the intercepted pass there. Didn't quite go well. The game is 7s. That's a yellow card. This is 15, so just a penalty to Stars. It was a good read and a good shoot by the Dallas defense.
He had plenty of room to run if he could have held on to that one. So Stars challenging here, trying to get back into this one, down 39-14.
So Todd Becker brought the ball into contact, was stopped by that Dallas defense. This is again Connor O'Brien going into contact again. And we talked about supporting a little bit more, especially when the scrum half goes in. So many teams will set the ball and just call for a pick and go. And it's like, well, if we're on the attack, why wouldn't we keep going on the attack? We talked about tactics when we go to ground about having offloads and pops, because you do have that set piece of time to release the ball. So Casey Hansen, ball in hand. Casey Hansen going for it, and Casey getting stuck. Again, things that don't happen when he's playing his D3 rugby in Iowa.
Couldn't go nowhere. He had wrapped up at his legs.
This is good ball moving again. So involving the props on the outside. That was Todd Becker offloading to Francis Doherty. So talking about support, all of our tries have now come from our forwards, and we're 3 for 3 with the big boys going over the line. So we're finding something that works. Hopefully they stick with it, because that's what we want to do. We want to keep exploiting that until Dallas makes adjustments, and then we're going to exploit a different area.
They had that quick ball movement, and you said that early on they needed to move the ball quicker, and that's led to 3 tries already. 1939 our score. Stars are going to try to add the conversion and get 2 more.
This is Ty James lining up the conversion attempt. Kick had the height and it had the distance, just didn't quite have the accuracy. So, and that's another change too. We can't take any credit for is this wind now. We're kicking into the wind. Yeah. So that's going to help us with our kickoffs. It's going to make things a little bit more difficult for Dallas as well. So it could be a welcome change. But to start the half and end the half, now we've scored 2 tries within 30 seconds of each other. That's pretty good rugby.
That's going to get you back in the game, down early by 2 tries to none. Kind of a turn of events for the Stars and working on some things. And I guess you kind of got to work through that. Not knowing each other, not knowing everybody's styles early on, and you're kind of figuring that out now.
Correct. And usually when we come on a tour like this for 15s as well, we'll play a game on a Sunday. So we would have had 2 days of training. We would have had 4 sessions together. We would have had more meals together, just more time as a team. So, you know, playing Saturday is something that is a bit of a unique challenge. And look at this, Stars again with the ball. We have penalty advantage. Chris Casey with the breakaway. So Chris Casey, another one with ties here to this region, played college rugby at Arkansas State, a varsity program. And he's another one. He's playing D3 rugby for Fox Valley up in Illinois. So this is good, and now slowing it down a little bit. A good service from Ty James playing that scrum half position. He's one of 4 scrum half capable players that we have on the team this weekend, and definitely earned the starting spot. He's got great delivery. Look at this. He's accurate. So Connor O'Brien again with quick hands. David Beach trying to get the offload to Francis Doherty there. Knocked forward. But the idea was there. The support, having the forward strung out a little bit wider, attacking in different areas. Now it's a penalty to Dallas, though. Not releasing on the ruck. I think that's the smallest player on the Dallas Reds, trying to go after the biggest player on the Stars, but
I don't think that's going to work out too well for him.
Yep. And David doing well to maintain his composure and walk away. So we have the kick to touch from Dallas. It may just stay in. So again, these are kind of the errors that plagued Stars in the first half, and we'll see if we can make them pay. Connor O'Brien ducking his way down to the ground. So Connor O'Brien doing well. We got the big runners here. So this is Francis Doherty, ball in hand. Solid support. Jonathan Blaylock and Ty James again with the service. So Connor O'Brien to the outside. Anthony Kissiday doesn't quite have hands on the ball, and referee says that it was knocked forward. So again, these are now the right ideas and the right momentum. We've got the support, we've got the structure, and now it's just a little bit of these issues with timing.
Got to execute on those. I have to have that momentum building.
Yeah, I mean, we can get another try in, and then we're narrowing the gap. If we can get it to, you know, 39 to 24, 39 to 26, that's a very different game, especially when we were sitting down 39 to 7.
So here comes another scrum. It's been Dallas' strong suit as they have the power up front.
And this will be a Dallas put it on the scrum. We look at the setup too. They've got all of their backs now in this narrow channel, just their wing to the far side of the field. So we're looking at how we're going to set up our Stars defense to cover this. And It's going to be a pretty potent attack here coming from this Dallas side if they win the ball. So we see the put in. And it is a slippery conditions. They actually move to the other side of the field, so a bit of a deception there. And we talked about that as well. The ground doesn't really have a lot of purchase, so when we talk about wearing big boy cleats, you know, and getting those studs dug in, it's not something that's possible. A knock on by Dallas, so Star's going to come away with the ball in hand, and we would like to take advantage of advantage. You know, I think we'd like to actually avoid scrums. So if we're able to gain our ground, we can gain ground for tactics. We can get a couple passes off and get good go forward. Can we make that 10 meters? What can we do? And fortunately, there's a penalty situation, so we had the opportunity with the ball in hand, but it was something that he whistled pretty quickly, so we're going to see what this discussion is with the assistant referee.
It looked like he called a high tackle. Confirm with Wendy on the other side.
World Rugby, of course, with a lot of initiatives to clean up the tackle area. We saw new directives in November, and this is going to be costly for Dallas. This is a yellow card to one of the Dallas second rows. So we talk about how they had such power in the scrum. For the Stars, this is about the best thing that can happen now. We've got the ball in hand, we've got an extra 10 minutes with an extra player, and we're taking off one of their strong scrummagers.
That's one of the bigger players. Trying to see his number to get you his name here in a second.
So this is the tap by Ty James, and we see the attempt at the chip downfield. So, you know, if it works, it's brilliant. If it doesn't, we're given a possession. So we'll have to see if we can recover and get this ball back. Again, with the man advantage, we want to keep the ball in hand. We want to use that to our advantage. We see the launch on the Stars defense. The tackle made by Todd Becker. Todd actually was a college wrestler, and coming from Iowa, that's pretty impressive. Good defense again. Jonathan Blaylock on the tackle. A misconnection by Dallas, but Dallas still ball in hand. And now a penalty to Stars. So obstruction called by the referee. Stars ball in hand. This is the time to push the pace. Having that extra man, definitely the time to push the pace, and we knew that was coming. He was getting sniped.
Yeah, that's the Stars player on the near side. He had lots of running room. Nobody was on him, but unable to get it over to him. That's number 5, Chris Ramsey for Dallas. That's going to be sitting out.
So we are having Dallas called for not being back 10 on the penalty. That called in by our other assistant referee. And now we're going to the line out. So the last line out we had in this area, when we found touch, the Stars had an excellent play. We'll see if we can do that again. This is another opportunity to capitalize off of possession. And for the Dallas team, you're just looking to prevent the try. If you can have a man with a yellow card and you can prevent the other team from getting across, that's a successful 10 minutes.
Stars with the line out.
And there's a nice quick throw. I love that first throw by Darren Rice, again linking up with David Beach. So it's Connor O'Brien with the offload to Casey Hansen. Casey trying to get his leg drive going forward. And we've got the numbers to the left. If Stars can get the ball out, they choose to go to the right. The ball is tipped. The ball is still bouncing. It is awkward.
Well, they get the whistle on it.
So now this is just an issue of Stars execution. We go back to those core skills. We talked about that in the first half with Dallas and a little bit of their struggles with the catch pass. When they had pressure against them, it was a little bit off. Now Stars are feeling a little bit of the same. So we've got possession and we've got that anxiety of wanting to score, especially with the man above, but we're dropping the ball. So things like that, core skills, have to be firm things that players are working on. And to be able to do it under pressure and do it in these different conditions as well.
Well, you talked about it, Nelly, now those fundamentals, like you're saying, the kickoff earlier. I guess they kind of got that worked out. It's a big scrum here for the Stars. See if they can win this one.
Yep, so again, Dallas with the put-in, and Dallas, you know, again, they're having to amend their setup and their structure. Again, with the rolling subs, they're able to bring another second row in and perhaps take another player off, and there's not going to be consequences, which is a little bit different when it comes to 15s. The ball goes to touch. We saw Connor O'Brien with a bit of an intercept as a player. I hate that offload. I just want to go on record and say that never works. It maybe works one time out of every 20 where a player is about to be tackled into touch and they do that, oh crap, pass back inside. We see it in basketball where they go flying into the stands. Yeah. But in rugby, it almost always results in a turnover. Either no one's there, the other team is there, or if someone catches the ball, they're under such defensive pressure because they're not in a position to do something well because it's not a good pass. It's just not sound rugby when we're looking at tactics to gain possession and maintain it.
Looks good on TV though, right? If you connect on it.
Again, because it works maybe 1 out of every 20 times, people think that 5% success rate is gonna result in excellent play for them. So Dallas doing well. There's a little bit of a mishap on the Stars line out, and Dallas kicks it downfield. Again, not finding touch or just trying to put pressure on the Stars team. Calvin Harrington with the kickback. Calvin's played a little bit of rugby with the Denver Barbarians during their summer sevens. and the Denver Sevens set up with their academy. So a penalty to Dallas. It was perhaps a ruck, perhaps a maul, but whatever it wasn't done correctly by Stars. So Dallas is going to kick to touch. We'll see if the ball makes it there. So that's step 1 done. Step 2, Dallas has to win their line out. So again, we want to put pressure up. We've got that big man in David Beach. I mean, he can just stand there with his hands in the air, and that's still something that's going to be about 10 feet worth of man for Dallas have to throw over or throw through. If we can put him up in the air and try to steal it, he's got quite the reach too. And of course, you know, Dallas has the size. That was not straight at all.
That was one-sided, so that's an easy call.
So with the option for the scrum or the line out, I would choose the line out, given that Dallas has a stronger scrum than the Stars.
They have been winning it.
Just playing good tactical rugby. I know there's some people that take the scrum as a matter of pride and think of the other team's opting the other way, that it's signifying kind of weakness. But it's kind of recognizing that that's an area where, because we don't train together all the time, and where Dallas has been so successful, we'll take the line out instead. So now that ball does go to David Beach. Again, not straight. So now we're going to have a scrum to Dallas.
You having issues with the wind on this one?
It looked like it was a good throw, and jumper came away with it cleanly, but it just shaded to the Star side. Wind, timing, who knows?
So Dallas is going to play to their strengths and take the scrum.
So this is the put in by Dallas. And looking at their setup, they do have an 8-man up at back of their scrum. So they must be playing short of flanker, and it doesn't quite work because Anthony Kisave comes away with the ball for the Stars, trying to get that stiff arm and maintain possession. We see advantage being shown. This is Ty James with a little bit of a break. So Ty playing scrum half, looking to make his way downfield. The offload misses just barely with Jonathan Hines to the outside, but there was advantage shown, so we're going to have a penalty to Stars. Again, on that high tackle. This is going to be Ty James with the ball in the middle again, setting up a penalty play. So there's not the opportunity to go quick. You could just, tap and go. We're obviously not in range to kick for post, especially on a windy day like this. We don't want to opt for a scrum. Kicking and touch, it's like, well, we might as well try to maintain possession and go forward. So that's what we do via David Beach. He is a player that I think could have a big future, but this is now a penalty against Stars. You have to release the ball when you are tackled. So it is Dallas going quick on the penalty.
That's a very popular call in the first game, not releasing.
And this is good distribution from the Dallas side. Good hands as well, but referee's going to call a penalty for obstruction here. And again, getting a little bit chippy out there. Able to walk the players and separate them.
I didn't see what that was about, but yeah, they're getting a little chippy out there.
So now we're going to have a moment and a little bit of a discussion again with the captains.
Hasn't been that out of control, but I guess that's kind of the taking control of the situation.
But this is the second time that we've seen a little bit of extras going on. So again, calming the teams down. This is good game management by Chris, the referee from Texas. So Jonathan Hines with the ball in hand, going to tap and go. Plays with Schuylkill River out of Pennsylvania. He played on our Regent Central Washington University tour. So Star Sealing over the ruck, maintaining possession. This is go forward out of Todd Becker. The ball is knocked. So again, Dallas rearranging their scrum, still a man down, not much time left on this yellow card, and we talked about this before. Dallas has so far prevented a Stars try, kicking downfield, putting pressure on, bought them a bit of space from when we were on the attack closer to the goal line. Stars would still love to come away with a try, but we've got a little bit of some execution errors that we need to tighten up.
So when you're down this man advantage, when you're down a man is kind of where you just want to play position and kind of make them chase the ball.
Well, I mean, you're trying to prevent, and they do have that kicking game. They've got that behind them in their first half, and they put us under pressure. They're not over trying anything. They're not shooting hard on defense and leaving any more holes. So it's kind of like, again, they're playing not to lose. There's that difference between having a big wide open game and everything too. So right now, this is all eating time off of the clock on this card as well. The ball is in, and this time Dallas does maintain their scrum. A little bit of a low service, another low pass as well. So Stars able to shoot on defense, that ball taking a little bit of time to get there, but Dallas breaks the tackles. Eventually brought down. Stars again zeroing on that ruck and looking to launch together. Again, some missed connections. And so now Dallas has lost about 12 meters worth of ground.
Nice hard tackle there.
Beautiful tackle from Jonathan Blaylock. And that was, again, so this kick from Dallas, nearly there, advantage to the Stars on the knock-on. So you saw that Calvin trying to go over his shoulder. So if he could have gotten himself back into position where he could have caught that ball face on and seen his defender coming at him. He also, we're looking at those positions too where he should have gone up in the air, because if he had been hit in the air, then that would have yielded a penalty. While you're doing that, you want to protect. You're going to bring your knee up just like goalkeepers do in soccer too. So unfortunately, he was looking more for that wide receiver over the shoulder catch. With the pressure of Dallas, that's not going to work. But again, little things and little differences. He's in college. A lot of these kids are under 21, and they're coming out here and playing, a full developed men's side. So these are lessons they can take back with them. So the film is still valuable whether you get the W or not.
Dallas is going to place their advantage.
So Dallas still down to 14 men. Referee said there's some extra time on this yellow card. It is going to be a Stars scrum. And again, looking to get the ball both in and out quickly. So Dallas was driving before, and we get the ball out quickly. So Anthony Kissaday running that 89 play again, Tariq James. And this is a hole for Casey Hansen. What a break. He's got one man to beat, almost gets through. He's using a little bit of footwork. This is Ty James again, and Casey's still there in support. This is going to be our first try from the backs. It is Ty James over the line, but what a hole. Casey Hansen with his bread and butter running like a hard crashing inside center. Fantastic support by the Stars, and still thank you to the referee for sending that extra player off, making it count and getting in that try before that yellow card was up. This is going to bring the score to 39-24 pending the conversion. If we make it 39-26, a 13-point game means 2 converted tries could win it. And this is now where we look at the option to kicking on penalties too, to chip away. If we can get it to within 2 tries, within 1 try, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the game plays out. But I love that go forward running rugby.
For a big man, that guy has some wheels.
He's deceptively fast. We said he kind of looks like DJ Forbes, except for he's probably an extra foot taller and an extra 80 pounds heavier. But again, so trying to unearth this talent, could a player like Casey move? Well, he's got a family. He coaches high school rugby. He's entrenched in Iowa, but this is an opportunity for him to come and then play up and get these reps. So he's played on quite a few of our tours, both 7s and 15s alike. A player that's been a good presence on our team, and has also now sent some of his Waverly Shell Rock High School players to play on our U27s team. We had Ian Heist to play with us. Ian's a nationally ranked wrestler. He actually wrestles for the USA national team. And in Iowa, they only play 7s rugby in their high school programs. We are going to have quite a few players from Texas. Cy-Fair represented, the Woodlands represented. So when we take our U19s, they're going to be playing the New Orleans, the Louisiana select side. So they're going to be the curtain raiser for our men's senior team. So it's going to be kind of neat to see how that pays off then. If you get players 17, 18, then they go to college, they play good rugby, or they still are able to come on tours. But then if they're with the program for 10, 12 years, that's a lot of longevity and a lot of strong culture as well.
Well, I guess you're saying that builds a pipeline. Like you said, he coaches high school rugby. He can't be with you all the time, but he can feed y'all players from his own program.
I'll tell you the nice thing too is that we had a U23 tournament in Iowa. So again, our U23s are undefeated in every 7s tournament they enter. We went out there, weren't scored on in a single match, and his high school parents opened up their house to us. We were playing in about 29 degrees temperature-wise, snow, sleet, hail, and we had parents from his high school team drying our clothes in their dryers, letting the boys shower between matches, and providing hot food. So you can't really ask for a better setup when we talk about building connections in community. So this is Stars on the attack again. Connor O'Brien this time gets the break on the line. So we're looking for line breaks. What's going to happen next? I love the option of a line break and then a pass. The pass wasn't quite there, and now this is a little bit messy. Dallas has somehow come away with the ball. So unfortunate, because that was another opportunity, but that similar breakdown field that we had before.
It's like a little blinded pass, just kind of throw it behind his back.
So Jonathan Hines come in with a counter ruck. Like seeing that. It's a little feisty on defense. You don't often see that from a wing either. And that's kind of a neat connection too. So Joey Broderick from Wheeling Jesuit was on our U23 tour. So that's a varsity program out in West Virginia. Jonathan is a friend of his, and so Joey recommended, said, Jonathan's got skills. I think he should come play on a team, and you guys won't regret it. So I said, all right, we'll give that a go. So played with us in Seattle and is out here in Texas. So Dallas with a couple line breaks downfield, but they knock on in contact. The play is being called back, though. There is a penalty to the Reds. So Stars going back 10.
So this all second half has been all Stars.
It's only been about 3 times that Dallas has crossed midway on the field, and it's been because of their kicking game. So we'll see what they can do with the line out. It has to get there. Again, the ball must find touch, and that's one of these key things. When we looked earlier to that penalty where we opted to run a play rather than kicking to touch for the line out, we don't want the ball to hang and stay on field. That's happened to Dallas a few times and has provided counterattacking opportunities. We want to attack in those situations too because the defense isn't set. Everyone can defend in a straight line. So if we can find mismatches and find holes and, in these scenarios, try to avoid them. Again, Dallas must find touch. Now they must win the line out, otherwise they're creating turnover balls. And we look at things that are just turnovers from basic play and strong defense versus turnovers that are because of errors and set pieces things too. There's so many different ways you can track stats and try to figure out what is meaningful.
Looks like one of your guys winded down there or losing his lunch.
I think he'll be all right. That's Jonathan Blaylock out of Birmingham, Alabama. We'll see if he walks it off, though there's a little bit of a hitch in his step. I'm sorry, I'm in Texas. Some hitch in his giddy up, right?
Yeah.
So Jonathan will be coming off. We have a substitution that'll come on for Stars. I saw Drew Busby enter the field.
Yeah, he does look a little wobbly. I don't think he was contacted.
Well, the beautiful thing is that we got plenty of trainers out here. We've been working with Baylor Sports Medicine. We know that they're tops in the country, so if we're going to make our contacts, that's what we do. We actually were supposed to have a trainer, and he got hired by your Houston Astros. So Sam Bell, we're missing you, but wishing him all the best in Major League Rugby, Major League Baseball. It's a one-track mind here.
Step up.
So he's previously with the Baltimore Ravens too. So he had some excellent sports science information. So this is a good call by Dallas. So Stars went up, and Nico with a beautiful line-out jump and a gorgeous lift. But Dallas was just trying to go with that little 5-meter throw in, and it didn't quite get there. So that's something we talked about before too, like that, oh no, pass, because I'm about to be tackled out of bounds. Doesn't work that often. The 5-meter line-out throw to a runner coming on actually has a pretty low execution rate as well. So these are the turnovers that are kind of the silly ones that are preventable too. So it was a good read, and unfortunately just wasn't executed, and now Stars have the ball on the attack.
Down by 15 on this one.
So Dallas with the making up for that error. This is Bryce Lanhart on the tackle. The Reds again, quick ball, another punishing tackle. Anthony Kissiday coming forward. It is Bryce again. So now Stars defense doing well, stepping up, driving Dallas back. Dallas still has possession, but they are being put under some serious pressure. This is a nice hold by Dallas, but the pass is forward, so it's going to be a scrum to the Stars.
Yeah, it's been a tale of two halves. The Stars have really turned around and really got things focused for the second half.
I think I know where which side of the field we want to defend with our women's game coming up next.
Made the choice easy. Are you going to be joining us for that game, or are you going to be out there?
To be determined. I do not play on these tours. I'm the director of the program, so that means I'm overseeing players and coaches, meals, trainers, all of our activities, all the movements, doing our kit orders, accounting, budgets, social media, and everything too. So normally I'd be on my computer and live tweeting here, but the opportunity to help call the match and everything as well. Our women's side, we've got 20 players. If we have any situations with the front row, I'm ready to step on. But this is about them and their development. I've played my rugby. I've had great connections. You know, this team was founded because when I played rugby at Northwestern, played with Chicago North Shore, with Chicago women, my coaches were always national team coaches. Our U23 program is quite strong in the Midwest as well. We had opportunity, but that doesn't exist everywhere. So it's being able to provide opportunities. On our women's side, we've got players that are, you know, down in St. Louis. We have players from Atlanta. We've got players from Raleigh area. We've got players from Seattle. So there's a balance of some very experienced players. Elena Cantorna, that'll be playing fly half for us, was a college All-American, 6-time national champion at Penn State. Her sister Gabby was just the fly half for the USA team on their recent England and Ireland tour when they got that win over Ireland. But then you have a player like that able to mix with some younger college players, able to mix with some of the players that are coming from regions that aren't quite so developed, then it's a great thing, because then they're making connections, they can recruit, or they just get to play with someone else experienced beside them. So Stars coming away with the ball. This is Drew Busby in at fly half, moving the ball towards the outside. And correction, that was Michael Van Norsten playing scrum half. Drew in the scrum cap to the far side of the field. David Beach with the breakaway, but he, again, kind of like that, oh no, pass. We don't need no-look passes in rugby. Now we've turned over what was a very good attacking opportunity, and the biggest guy on the field was giving the ball to almost the smallest, shortest guy on the field. When David going forward, even if he had taken 2 more steps through contact and had, like, you know, leaned forward, that could be another 8 yards. So again, little things where it's the right idea with the support too, but when we're looking at, you know, big hard charging forwards going under pressure, if he had taken it in and taken out a couple defenders, that would have opened up the space then for Drew and some of these other players to run through. Plus he had to pass from on high to down low.
I think Dallas is going to make a couple of substitutions here.
Yep, so bring on, looks like a couple of props, or maybe replacing their entire front row. We're just going with like hockey style full line changes here.
Line changes off the board.
But it's fun rugby.
Sima Mazuwa coming in. Joe Gertie. I didn't quite catch the other guy's number going in.
Well, there was a 1 and a 3, and then a something else.
A 3, that would have been Kuda, and a 25. It would have been Joe Gertie. But yeah, we were talking earlier in the first game with Wendy, and they're saying that in these tournaments or in these little all-star games that they do just a lot of free substitutions and coming in and out.
Well, that's one of the things. As rugby grows, you know, we're always looking for sponsors. Hello to everybody out there. Come sponsor the Stars. But the players they're paying to be here. And they're taking time off of work and away from family as well. So they're paying financially, but they're also paying with time. So we want to make sure that they're getting their money's worth. So by bringing in good coaches, by bringing in solid athletic trainers, by showing them Cowboy Stadium and everything else too, we want to make sure that they're getting the experience and that we're delivering on what they've been promised. So they've got to have minutes on the field. They've got to walk away with a different style of play. So that's one of the beauties of coming on tours like this too, is that you play with your home team and you have a set system. You also might be in a position because that's what's best for your team, but you can come into a touring opportunity and maybe you've always played outside center, but you can play fly half. You tell that coach you're a fly half, and then boom, there you are, and you get to do something different. Maybe your other team doesn't allow a big kicking game, and here you can do that freely, you know, as long as there are reasons and as long as there's structure and as long as there is support, you know, you get to play outside of your normal systems.
So what's your impression on Texas rugby?
Well, we knew that Texas rugby was big. We knew that it was going to be fast, and we knew it was going to be fit. I think this is what we expected out of the Dallas Reds. We knew that even though this is their D2 side, again, that it was going to be more of a D1 team, especially because they do have such a large international presence. So, you know, pleased with the opportunity and pleased with the connection as well. You know, this is a relationship we'd be looking to continue. We were looking at potentially trying to schedule matches too, like with the Austin Elite side, you know, whether it was their academy or their senior team, again, because of connections there. So if we can get, you know, continue playing rugby here in Texas, come into warm weather during our cold weather months, it extends the season for these guys. I mean, when we played Midwest playoffs, it was snowing and it was muddy. So if we can come from, you know, conditions that are pretty harsh and playing in, you know, 20-degree weather with wind chill to playing in 70 degrees and extend the season and provide more opportunities, that's good for the sport.
Stars trying to make a push here. They haven't scored in about 10 minutes.
So it was a cheeky little attempt at a chip and chase here by Jonathan Hines, and Stars end up coming away with the ball after some back and forth. That'll be kind of fun to walk. I know what he was trying to do there, and it nearly pulled off.
Did.
You know, but again, so that's talking about the freedom to be you, and that's something that Peter said. You know, he's like, you can express yourself on the field. Rugby is a team sport, but really, taking something from the French, it's a lot of 15 one-on-one interactions. There is a lot of rugby that is individual too. So you have a team structure, but you have individual skills, and you should embrace that. So again, if you can do that without consequence and say, okay, I tried that. Next time I try that, I need to do X, Y, Z, or hold the ball differently. I need to kick a different part of my foot. I need to maybe not have defense in my face or have more space. You can take that from experience. experience, but if you never get to play that way, you're never going to be able to do it when you're, under pressure. Then we see the scrum set up here on the near side of the field. So coming in for scrum half 2, this is Michael Van Norston. He's a player from here in Texas, from Angelo State. They're one of the NSCRO teams, so it's the National Small College Rugby Organization. They've got, I believe, 700 colleges in their system, and these are just small colleges. So it's not that they're like Division 4 below the others. It's just that they have different sizes, different resources, and this provides them an opportunity to play like universities. This scrum has wheeled. Ball was out, Michael going for it, so it looked like it had just maybe gotten to 89.5 degrees rather than 90. But this is some sloppy play. It looks like Dallas is going to come away with the ball, but they've got about all 8 forwards in this ruck and coming straight over the top again. That's not going to be successful. Thankful that that young man is wearing spandex today. He got tackled by his shorts there. So again, we see them like setting up for these picks and goes. They're going to pick and go and try to like eat away at the defense. We see the attempt at the gator roll here by the Dallas number 1. Drew Busby's short. It's hard to gator roll someone that's not going to be. It's already close to the ground. So Dallas again with this chip through. We see them. This is now 5, 6, 7 kicks downfield, and even if it goes to touch, we've got the opportunity for the quick line out. It doesn't quite get there, and now Stars with the ball in hand. Dante Lawrence, and this is Jonathan Hines looking to go forward, and Jonathan Hines with a little bit of a break. And he is still going. So Jonathan Hines showing off a little bit of his wheels. Grateful to his job that actually flew him to Texas this week, and he was able to stay on for the extra weekend and play with us. It was just right place, right time. So this is good go forward with the Stars, and it was a good counter as well with support. This is Sam Chaney going forward again, the prop that scored earlier in the first half. This is a Stars attempt at a gator roll. David Beach taking off the side as Dallas got the turnover. So a good counter ruck and a good change of possession from Dallas, and they're just kicking downfield again. They've got a guy with fresh legs, so they're obviously got some sort of tactic they're trying to employ here. Dante Lawrence dancing his way out of the tackle. So Dante Lawrence now with the counter, and we'll see if Stars can make them pay. So this goes in the hands of Casey Hansen. Casey doing well to get the ball into his right hand. He's got the option for the stiff arm, the palm off. He's got support to the inside. Nico with the ball as the ball bounces down. Connor Rinklin attempting the pick and go. So again, Stars playing with support and playing good go forward rugby. We look at principles of play when it comes to the 15s game. You want that to break the game line. A little bit different from 7s where possession is king. Obviously possession helps in 15s, but we want that go forward ball. They look at meters made and line breaks and different stats in the 15s version of the game. So I like that though. Dallas kicked twice downfield, and look at this. Stars are actually in a better position now than where it started from. So Casey going to come off for a moment. Either tweaked his leg or a little bit of a cramp.
Yeah, he's walking kind of gingerly. Yeah, it's a nice opportunity here for the Stars, down 24-39. Roughly about 8 minutes to go here in the last half of play.
Yeah, so a couple shifts in our personnel too. Drew Busby is playing flanker now with Michael at scrum half. Bryce Lanhart making his way over to the scrum. And we have Carlos Garcia that came in. He replaced Casey Hansen, which pushed Jonathan Hines to outside center. So Connor O'Brien still in at fly half. Connor Rinklin was in the game. Connor Rinklin is back at fullback now. Had started at fly half. Again, just turned 18 2 weeks ago when we were at Lindenwood. Really stood out on our U20 tour. He's got options when it comes to universities. I know he's talking to St. Bonaventure, University of Arizona. See if maybe one of these Texas teams might make him an offer too.
Nice outside run by Dallas, getting into Stars territory.
And that was Jan Connor on the tackle. He's got the golden shoes on. So this is, again, Dallas's really first sustained multi-phase play here in Stars half, and it yields a penalty to Stars. So we'll see what we can do. We want to make something happen, see if we can push the pace and get a couple tries on the board before the game ends. But again, coming away from being down 39-7 towards the end of the first half to 39-24 is a pretty good change in pace and a resounding amount of character to dig deep and to be able to come from this big opening failure with missed kickoffs, with Dallas putting points on the board and still staying in the game and taking it to them.
Yeah, whatever they said at halftime is working. I mean, the kickoffs and just the overall play has changed since that first half.
So this is a Stars kick that doesn't quite find touch. So again, like unfortunate mistakes on these penalties that give away possession. Dallas, again, is kind of looking forward heavy. They were trying to deploy all those pick and goes on this near side of the field, so it seemed like pick and go, try to kick downfield and see what can work. And that was interesting.
Good job by the Stars to mess up that play.
Yep, free play and a free ball downfield. Someone just has to get it.
Nobody wanted it.
Oh, Chris, He's got his shoulder down, but unfortunately did not get the arms wrapped. Run over by the Dallas number 3 on attack, and he did. He steamrolled him downfield. So Dallas with the ball. That was something that, again, if we'd been able to get a foot on it or pick up the ball, Stars might have been able to walk their way into another try. But the bounces of that ball end up in Dallas's hands, and now it's Dallas again kind of bumping the ball in the air. And an odd line break, but a line break nonetheless. We see some steps from this Dallas side, and again a missed connection on the pass. The ball is knocked. This is going to be a scrum to the Stars.
Had a lot of that going on today. A lot of balls getting knocked around and not being caught. So roughly about 5 minutes left to go here in the game. Dallas still on top, 39-24. Stars get set to put it in play. It's been a balanced kind of attack this last part of the half after the Stars were able to get 2 tries.
Yep, it was scrum wheeled yet again, so that's the same issue we saw on this near side of the field. Stars with a little bit of a breakaway, so this is Anthony Kisade who took the ball from Dante Lawrence. Dante with a nice break. Anthony, a good little stop-start there. They tried to tackle him, and he was able to keep his feet and keep going, so this is allowing Stars to catch up in support as well. Drew Besby, Connor O'Brien, ball in hand. Connor O'Brien, again, one of the smaller players on the field, but
stripped away.
Yep. And Dallas again with the kick downfield, and the ball finds its way into touch, so we're going to have a line out about 40 meters from the Stars goal line with the Stars throwing in.
That wind's picking up. Do you do a lot of rugby broadcasting?
I've done a fair amount of, some various national championships. I've done some broadcasting with Life University for some of their home matches, with tournaments in Australia, Cape Fear, here and there and everywhere. A good amount with Gift Time Sports and with Next Level Rugby broadcasting the Rugby United New England Free Jacks game later today.
I can tell. Appreciate you jumping on and helping us out.
Sometimes you just work with the gifts you have. All right, so this is the Stars line out, and the ball is cleanly taken. David Beach in the air, so Connor O'Brien with the ball, and going out back to fullback, Connor Rinklin. The ball off the face of Dante Lawrence. It's not a knock-on, though. Keep playing. Dallas coming away with the ball. And now it is Dallas that is under pressure. Dallas running around their own team. I might have called that obstruction, but it, of course, is up to the referee because no Stars player was actually attempting to make the tackle. So if a player had actually obstructed somebody going forward, that would have been a different story. We see Connor O'Brien barely getting a hand on this Dallas offender. Dallas spinning out of the tackle on the run towards the outside of the field. They've got numbers. They just need to execute here. And it's Stars that are trying to take the man to touch. And we are going to come away with...
Haven't seen the signal yet. He's going to confirm with his line judge.
It is a try. We see the assistant referees going under the post. So unfortunate because Stars had some opportunities. Again, the ball off the face, a couple misconnections on some of these offloads here too. There are 3 or 4 try scoring opportunities, or at least offensive plays where we could have maintained possession of the ball and had some good series. So it's one of those things where, again, a little bit more time, an extra day, getting in some training where we actually had more contact as well versus just setting up structures and setting up systems of play and getting to know each other might have made a difference. So, we come down, play Dallas again. We'll look to play on a Sunday and see if we can get that happening. But again, valuable learning opportunities here. And of course, having the film and being able to watch after and take that back and say, okay, this is what worked, this is what didn't work so well. That is an unfortunate try to end the game. So it is going to be the Dallas Reds that walk away victors by a margin of 44-24.
Well, that's going to do it for the match number 2. We are going to be back here at 3 p.m. for the Women's All-Star Game between Mid-America and the Stars Women's All-Star. So we'll be back at 3 p.m. Stay tuned to YouTube. You're watching TRU All-Star Challenge on the VIPE KMAC Network.